Hello everybody, Nitsa Gamer here, and welcome to my review of Suicide Squad. So I guess before I talk about Suicide Squad, I should talk about what I thought of the first two movies in the DC Extended Universe, I think it's called. So Man of Steel, I absolutely hated. I know a lot of people like it, and I know it's a polarized movie. It's pretty much just the song that it's a polarized movie, and you either absolutely loved it or you absolutely hated it. And I'm in the boat that absolutely hated it. Are there some good elements in the movie? Absolutely. Like, I did like most of the casting. The action was good, particularly in the Smallville fight. And, to be honest, the only two scenes I really enjoyed was the fight in Smallville, and of course, when Martha was trying to connect to Clark in the school janitor closet. Batman v Superman, I was actually quite average on it, to be honest. I mean, I know a lot of people found Batman v Superman to be worse, and in many ways, it does have the worst story. Like, it's definitely the most convoluted and incoherent in comparison to Man of Steel, but I found the story in Man of Steel just as incoherent as well. But I won't deny that in Batman v Superman, it's a lot more jumbled in, because they're throwing in like the death of Superman, Doomsday, the Dark Knight Returns, Wonder Woman, building up the Justice League, and they're just cramming so much crap into this one movie that it's just a jumbled mess. But I did find good aspects that I really did enjoy in Batman v Superman, such as the action. The cinematography is really good, which is definitely the number one best thing that I think Zack Snyder is good at, is the cinematography. Not so much with storytelling, but the cinematography he is really good at. And a best example to show how good he can be at cinematography is if you watch the intro to Watchmen, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm kind of average on Batman v Superman, but I'm definitely more negative about it than I am positive about it. So Man of Steel gets a 2 out of 10 in my opinion, and Batman v Superman gets a 4 out of 10. Suicide Squad. Now this one is controversial, and just, oh my god, as if the last two movies weren't controversial enough. Like, Suicide Squad just looked really awesome. It looked like this was going to be the movie that was going to redeem DC, and that this would be the movie that would actually push these further movies forward, and we would have great movies like Wonder Woman, and we would actually have a legit good Justice League movie. And yeah, look on Rotten Tomatoes, and it's about 26%. 26%. And I think it was 27% earlier, but according to Rotten Tomatoes, Suicide Squad boasts a talented cast, indeed, and a little more humor than previous DCEU efforts. But they aren't enough to save the disappointing end result with a muddled plot, thinly written characters, and choppy directing. Alright, so if that's pretty much what people think, over 200 critics, 26% on Rotten Tomatoes, what do I think of this movie? What the hell is wrong with critics? I thought this was good. Now, to be fair, there are problems with this movie, which I will address, but yeah, if you are going to go into this movie, don't let Rotten Tomatoes, don't let the critics blind you or give you any less reason to spend your money. Go see this movie. I recommend you to see this movie because, in my opinion, this is a movie worth seeing. And in my opinion, this is the first legit good movie in this universe. And again, there are problems with this movie, which I will address in this review. But as a whole, I found it to be a really good movie. I mean, Man of Steel, I absolutely hated because I thought it was insulting representation of Superman. Batman v Superman, I'm kind of average on, in that there were really good things that were adapted from the comics that did kick ass, but when it came to plot and character development, it just felt forced. Suicide Squad improves all of that. It doesn't have an incoherent plot. In fact, the plot in this one is very easy to follow. Very easy to follow. You understand all the characters' motivations, you understand their backstories, and it tells the narration very well. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I've already started controversy in the comments, like, how can you like this movie? I mean, look at Rotten Tomatoes! Well, you know what? I'm sorry. I like Suicide Squad, and I'm not going to be one of those people that are like, "Oh, critics are wrong. I should totally sign this petition to bring down Rotten Tomatoes and all that." And it's like, really, guys, just grow the heck up. An opinion is not a right or wrong answer. It's a personal perspective of art. That's all it is. Now, I am a DC fan for sure, but the thing is that I don't know the majority of these characters that are in this film. I mean, I know Deadshot and Katana mostly from the TV show Arrow, and I think Deadshot was also in that one episode of Smallville, if I remember. Amanda Walker, again, I've seen her in Smallville and Arrow. And Boomerang, we saw him in between Arrow and Flash, I think. And yeah, most of the stuff with the villains that we do see in this, I've mostly seen from the live-action TV shows too. So to be honest, I've never seen much of Harley Quinn, to be honest. So yeah, I guess I should talk about the individual characters, because as the movie starts, we actually get the backstories to the individual characters one by one, starting with Deadshot, going to Harley Quinn, going to Captain Boomerang, Diablo, and, Enchantress, and all these other characters. But the thing is that I do find the pacing to be good in terms of telling these backstories. I mean, it's over the top and silly in some ways, but I think it's actually very fitting considering that, it is such a harsh subject matter, tackling a darker tone with, villains and all that. And I think it's fitting because I always find that DC villains seem to shine a lot more than the superheroes. I mean, I love Batman and Superman, but when you compare Batman and the Joker always steals the show. And yeah, all these villains do steal the show. The performances are good. Will Smith as Deadshot is actually really good. I mean, well, I wasn't skeptical on Deadshot at all. I know my dad, who I saw this, who went with me to see this movie, he was kind of skeptical on whether or not if this movie would be too much like a Will Smith movie, like Men in Black. Would he be kind of a wisecracking smartass and all that? And there are lines where he is kind of a cracking smartass in a few scenes, but they are done at appropriate times, and it does fit Deadshot's character. And yeah, Will Smith does a really great job at Deadshot. They tackled the backstory of Deadshot pretty well with the connection with his daughter and all that, and that the only thing that keeps him going is his daughter, in the hopes that he can see her again, despite the fact that he is seen as a criminal, or that he is a criminal. Paid to shoot people. So yeah, Deadshot really good. Will Smith does an awesome job at Deadshot. Harley Quinn, the actress, oh man, I forget her name. Margaret Robbie, I think her name was. Terrific job. She has the best performance in this entire movie. Harley Quinn, in my opinion, is probably my most favorite character in terms of performances, and she has like the most funniest lines in the entire movie. And she starts off where she was just I forget what she was, a nurse or something at Arkham Asylum, and she was looking after the Joker. She starts falling in love with the Joker, and when a riot breaks out, the Joker psychologically tortures her into Harley Quinn. And yeah, for those of you who are disappointed that we don't get to see Harley Quinn in her clown-like outfit, well, guess what? We do actually see that clown outfit in one scene, so yeah, I just probably got a good number of you to see this movie now. Yeah, but Harley Quinn does a really great job, and well, it does feel like fan fiction seeing the Joker and Harley Quinn together. Again, I haven't seen every adaptation with Harley Quinn and the Joker together, but it's tackled really well and all that, and they're an insane couple that you just love seeing together and all that. They might as well just die for each other. It's pretty awesome. And yeah, the Joker himself, played by Jared Leto, good Joker for sure. And you probably already saw the people typing in on the internet and all that, saying that the Joker does lack his appearances in this movie, and yeah, he does lack his appearances in this movie. In fact, a lot of his scenes had to be cut out and all that, and it was mostly, I don't know why, but a lot of the Joker scenes had to be cut from the movie, and you can definitely tell when you watch the trailers that there's definitely scenes that were cut out. Like, there's one moment where he's talking to this guy that I guess he's hiring by the name of Monster T, and he's like, I can't wait to show you my toys. Like, that was not in the movie. In fact, another line that wasn't in the movie is when you have the Suicide Squad at the pub, and then, you know, they're asking, you know, what kind of alcohol they want, and Diablo is like, I'll have some water. That's a good idea. That was actually cut from the movie, which was kind of disappointing. But then again, if they had showed every single funny thing from the trailers in the movie, all that sort of stuff, then, you know, the joke wears out because we've seen it before in the trailers. But they do have fresh jokes, so it's not like they used every funny moment in the trailers. There are other funny moments that we don't see in the trailers that are in this movie, and they are legit funny, that either match the personalities of the characters or it's just timed right and all that. Yeah, Enchantress, I can't say her name for some reason. She's given a great backstory, and some of the characters, their backstories are kind of rushed at the beginning and they're kind of simplified, but there's more character given to them later on in the film, so it justifies their means by not showing much of a backstory. In fact, Killer Croc does not really have that much of a backstory in this movie, but he's really more of a side character, if anything, so it kind of, you know, fits that they don't focus too much on him. I mean, if anything, the three main characters that they should be focusing on would be Deadshot, Harley Quinn, and Diablo, and then yeah, Captain Boomerang, Killer Croc. Their motivations are pretty simplified and all that, and their backstories again simplified, but yeah. All the villains are great, all the performances are great, and I don't know much about the actor who plays Captain Boomerang, but apparently from what I hear, the actor's hasn't been good in many films. He does a great job as Captain Boomerang, by the way. So yeah, all the actors do a good job, all that sort of stuff. The story itself is simple to follow. I mean, I guess you can argue it's a little too simple, but I would rather have a simple plot to follow as opposed to an incoherent story where everything is like jumbled like in Batman v Superman or Man of Steel. I mean, the plot in those movies are just bad. And in Suicide Squad, it's simplified where it feels like a comic book movie. And in many ways, I will address the negatives because there's definitely some flaws with the plot and all that. But yeah, there is a great atmosphere throughout the entire movie, and while it's kind of the same atmosphere throughout the entire thing, there are some emotional moments that kind of go up and down and all that, so you get to learn more about the characters and even the reasons why they are doing this in the first place, and I'm trying not to give away any spoilers, so yeah, I really enjoy the plot. I love the characters. I love the backstories given. The story's good. Now it's time to address the negatives. The plot itself is probably a little too simplified in that, as I said, throughout the entire movie, there's kind of just this one atmosphere throughout the entire movie that does have its emotional moments as it progresses, but as soon as it gets to the climax, it kind of just feels the same as if it were in the middle of the movie. So in many ways, the tension kind of doesn't really level up as much as it should, but at the same time, the climax is not a bad climax. And without giving away who the villain of the movie is, the villain, I will definitely admit, is a weak villain. Is it a terrible villain? No, not a terrible villain at all. But the villain of the movie, I will admit, is a little weak in that there's really not much motivation aside from the fact of, you know, once I find the opportunity to do this, then all I have to do is just take over this subway station and voila, I can probably rule a part of the world or something like that. Yeah, the villain is definitely weak in this movie, but not a terrible villain in my opinion. So I will definitely agree with critics on that, is that the villain is actually weak. And I won't give away who the villain is for those of you who have seen it. But yeah, the villain is weak, but not a terrible villain. And I would be lying if some of the emotional moments are kind of forced in. Like, I feel the stuff with Rick Flag, the leader of the Suicide Squad, I mean, aside from Amanda Waller, the guy who is leading the Suicide Squad through the city, I feel like his dilemmas are kind of a little forced in that I don't feel that much sorry for him, but I think that's mostly because of his connection with the villain and all that, which I think makes it kind of weak and all that. Really, the only reasons why his motivation is kind of weak in this is mostly because of his connection with the villain, who, as I said, is weak. But again, it's not terrible. You do feel sorry for him and all that, and you understand what he's going through and the sacrifices he's willing to make to get all these villains to go up against this big threat that, of course, he does really care about, and it does affect him emotionally. And yeah, the only other flaw that I can think of is that there are scenes with the Joker, like, as I said, there are scenes with the Joker that were cut out of the film, so we'll definitely get an extended edition later on, but there were scenes with the Joker, as I said, they were cut out of the film, and there's a lack of Joker in this movie. I mean, the thing is that even with the lack of his appearances, I think it's well enough to tell the story, because the story is about, you know, the Suicide Squad. It is more about Harley Quinn than the Joker and all that, and for the Joker's lack of appearance, I think is actually fitting for this movie. Because his appearances are mostly there for Harley Quinn's character development and all that, and that's where the focus should be. It shouldn't be on the Joker if there really is no character development with the Joker. If anything, the Joker's existence is for Harley Quinn's development, and that's where the focus is mostly on. And for the stuff that is cut out, the stuff that is left in is mostly focused on developing Harley Quinn's character. And you know what? It is good. I mean, there's definitely some moments where it does feel like there should be more to it. Like when he's hiring what was his name? Monster T, I think his name was. When he's getting Monster T on his team and whatever, it kind of feels like a little hanging subplot that could have been filled more. And honestly, you don't really see much of that plot aside from like 2 scenes in a bar, and then of course in a room where you have all like this butchered meat on the side, which is disturbing. And also Jared Leto as the Joker. When I first saw Jared Leto as the Joker, like when I saw this picture, I was like, no, guys, you are just ruining the Joker. I mean, seriously? I mean, not only did you just make him look like Marilyn Manson, but who the hell is this person? However, when I saw the Joker at the end of the Suicide Squad trailer where he's like, oh, I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna hurt you really, really bad. I was actually invested, and I was like, okay, you know what? Now the joke's on me. So I started off like, I started a joke, this Joker won't work. And then suddenly when he did his performance at the end of the teaser trailer, now the joke is on me. So yeah, Jared Leto does a good job as the Joker, but he's not as good as Jack Nicholson, or was that his name? Yeah, Jack Nicholson and Heath Ledger. He's definitely not as good as Jack Nicholson from the I forget what year it came out, Batman, and the Heath Ledger Joker. Like, definitely not as good as those 2 actors, but he does have his good take and all that. And because Joker is not in this movie as much, it's really hard for me to really determine whether or not if his performance is really spot on as the Joker. But as far as this movie is shown, he does a good job and all that. And again, the movie is not about the Joker. It is about Harley Quinn's development whenever the Joker is on screen. It's not about the Joker. It's about Harley Quinn. It's about the rest of the Suicide Squad, and it keeps the focus where it should be. I think that's really all I have to say. I honestly really like this movie. So, yeah, why the heck are critics tearing this apart? I mean, I will admit, the story does have its weak points and all that in a simplified story and all that, but I think the weak points are really minor stuff and all that, and I don't think it's warranty to say, oh, this is a really awful movie and all that, because it just feels like a prejudice is going on where it's like, oh, this is a part of the DC universe that actually comes after Man of Steel and Batman v Superman. Gotta automatically pick the shit out of this. It just angers me because I know that's not the case. And it just feels like there's a prejudice going on with like these DC films that are coming out. And it's just depressing because I really like the Suicide Squad, and for some reason, like, what rating did Batman v Superman get, by the way? 27%? So wait a minute, guys. 27% for Batman v Superman, 26% for Suicide Squad, and believe it or not, there was a news article that I found where someone was saying that Batman v Superman is not as bad as Suicide Squad. In fact, Suicide Squad is worse than Batman v Superman. What movies have these people been watching lately? I mean, seriously? I just don't get the critics. And again, I'm not saying that their opinions are wrong or anything. There's no such thing as a right or wrong opinion and all that. But it just feels like because Man of Steel and Batman v Superman gave this universe a bad reputation, that it feels like people need to hate Suicide Squad. Like, they have to be prejudiced towards it, and that if they find the slightest negative thing in it, then they have to expose it to an extreme where it has to go down to a 26% on Rotten Tomatoes. And honestly, I can't blame the fans for being angry at the critics and all that. But again, I don't support this petition to shut down Rotten Tomatoes or anything. I don't support the petition to put common sense in the critics' heads. I mean, if they don't like it, fair enough. I mean, I can see someone going in and saying, it was an okay movie, but honestly not my thing. But I can't really see anybody going into this movie and saying, oh my god, this is bad. Or even saying, this is worse than Man of Steel and Batman v Superman. Really? Really? Are you saying that you prefer horrible character development in Batman v Superman and Man of Steel over Suicide Squad? Are you saying that you would prefer the lack of humor in Batman v Superman and Man of Steel than the humor that is in Suicide Squad? What is wrong with... I don't know. I don't know what the heck is on the critics' mindset, but this is not the reputation that Suicide Squad deserves. It deserves to be watched. It deserves a better reputation than what it's given. And if I did have to say anything that is betterly done in Batman v Superman or Man of Steel, like Batman v Superman in particular, the cinematography is definitely done better in Batman v Superman. I mean, the cinematography in Suicide Squad is not bad, but you can tell that the director is not the cinematography type of person. I mean, this is directed by David Ayer, and yeah, he's definitely not the cinematography type of guy. And that's what I believe is Zack Snyder's biggest strength, is his cinematography over storytelling. And because David Ayer is given a much more simplified plot and all that to work off of, it's much more easier to follow, so it's much more easier to connect with these characters and all that. And even if the villain is disappointing, and even if the story does have its weak points as it progresses, I can't complain, to be honest. I honestly don't mind the lack of appearance of Joker, because it feels fitting for Harley Quinn's character, who should be more focused on than the Joker, and that's where the focus is. Honestly, I think it deserves better. Suicide Squad is a good movie, in my opinion, so the final verdict for Suicide Squad is a 7 out of 10. Does it have problems? Yeah, it has problems, but very minor problems, and not ones that I think are warranting of a negative review. I mean, I don't know what is on the critics' mindset and all that. And again, I'm not saying that critics are horrible people who want to destroy everything in this universe and all that. Like, oh, we're gonna get a good Wonder Woman movie? We better hope the critics doesn't come in and bash this entire movie into pieces and all that. Because, yeah, reputation can go a long way. Since the Marvel Cinematic Universe has a good reputation, it's kind of no doubt that it is going to get its positive reviews, and it's no doubt that the DC Universe is going to get its negative reviews just because of its bad reputation. However, I hope that the critics are picking on this film because they legitimately think it's a bad film and not because of the bad reputation that the universe has been getting. And yeah, I can only hope that that's the case and all that. So, yeah, if you personally hated this film, leave it in the comments down below telling why. If you like this film, again, leave it in the comments down below telling why. I personally really liked it. I could connect with the characters. I love the humor. The story, while simplified and has a few problems, is easy to follow. The emotions do stand out and all that, and the characters are really great, the performances are really great, and it's just an overall fun movie. This movie is definitely worth your time. Go see Suicide Squad. Don't listen to the critics. Don't let the Rotten Tomatoes score blind your judgment. Go see Suicide Squad. It's a movie worth seeing. And I have no shame in saying that this is the first DC movie that I actually liked. I hated Man of Steel, and I have no shame to say that I hated it, despite being a Superman fan. I'm okay with Batman v Superman, but I do have more negative opinions about it than positive. But I have no shame whatsoever to say that Suicide Squad is a good movie with some flaws, but not warranted to get a negative review or anything. So yeah, I think it's getting an unfair reputation. It deserves better. And to be honest, I am more on the fan boat of Suicide Squad. I will still hate Man of Steel. I will still more dislike Batman v Superman than like it. But I will always like Suicide Squad. So, guys, that was my review on Suicide Squad. So, I won't be going into a spoiler corner or anything. So, yeah. That's really all I have to say. So, thank you guys so much for watching. And I'll see you guys in another Nitsa Gamer video. Goodbye.